You know that moment when your bank account hits zero 4 days before payday? And you sit there doing the math? Again? Rent, groceries, that subscription you keep forgetting to cancel? And you think, okay, something has to change. And then Monday comes, and you go back. Not because you love it there, not because it's getting better, but because the alternative feels like jumping off a cliff in the dark. That's not weakness. That's not laziness. That's the psychology of being financially trapped in a job you emotionally left a long time ago. Quick note, this video is educational, not professional advice. If any of this hits close to home, please talk to a qualified professional. Here's what nobody tells you about people who stay in jobs they hate. They call you comfortable. You're actually cornered. They call you risk averse. You're actually doing survival math every single month. They call you unmotivated. You're actually exhausted from maintaining a life that your paycheck can barely support. And the thing nobody says out loud? You're not alone in this. 70% of workers today believe the cost of living has outpaced their salary. 70%. This isn't a personal failure. This is the room you're all standing in together. Here's the thing. Economists have started calling this moment the Great Stay. After years of the Great Resignation, when people quit in record numbers, the tide reversed completely. Resignation rates have dropped to their lowest point in over a decade. People aren't leaving anymore. But here's what the data doesn't show on the surface. They're not staying because things got better. They're staying because outside got scarier. The labor market that once felt like an open door now feels like a wall. Hiring freezes, layoffs making headlines every other week, AI reshaping entire job categories. The message coming from every direction is the same. Don't move. It's dangerous out there. And so people stay. Not out of loyalty, not out of satisfaction, out of fear. Researchers call this behavior job hugging. Clinging to a position not because it gives you something, but because losing it feels unsurvivable. And once you understand that this is happening at a mass scale right now, the shame starts to lift a little. Because you're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because the system got very good at making leaving feel impossible. But then there's something else happening here. Psychologists have studied what happens to the brain when you're trapped between two painful options: staying somewhere that drains you, or risking the income that keeps your life together. They call it approach avoidance conflict, and it's one of the most exhausting mental states a person can be in, precisely because there's no clean move available. Your brain is running a calculation with no good answer, on a loop, every single day. That low-level hum of dread you feel on Sunday nights? That's not anxiety about work. That's the sound of a decision you can't make, because both options feel like losing. And here's where it gets darker. Studies on financial stress show that chronic money worry doesn't just affect your mood, it literally shrinks your ability to think clearly. Researchers at Princeton found that financial insecurity consumes the equivalent of 13 IQ points of mental capacity. Same impact as losing a full night of sleep. So you're trying to figure out your next career move with a brain that's already running on fumes. And then people wonder why you can't just figure it out. The deck is stacked, and it was stacked before you sat down.
Now here's where it gets interesting. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the sunk cost fallacy. The idea that we keep investing in something because of what we've already put in, not because of what it can still give us. Most people know it vaguely, but nobody talks about how brutally it hits in the context of a job. You've given this place years, maybe a decade. You've learned its systems, survived its politics, built relationships, shaped your entire identity around what you do there. Leaving doesn't just mean finding a new job. It means admitting that a significant portion of your life was spent somewhere that wasn't right for you. And the brain, which is very, very good at protecting you from painful realizations, resists that conclusion with everything it has. Staying isn't just about money. It's about not wanting to look back. And layered on top of that is something psychologists call status quo bias, our deep, wired preference for the current state of things, even when the current state is quietly destroying us. The familiar bad feels safer than the unfamiliar unknown, every single time. So you're not just fighting financial fear, you're fighting the architecture of your own mind. But let's clear something up. The personal development industry spent years telling you this was a mindset problem. If you really wanted to leave, you would. Comfort zone is where dreams go to die. You're choosing this. And look, there's a version of that which is true. Agency matters. Choices exist. But that framing conveniently ignores the material reality most people are living in right now. When rent has increased 40% in 5 years, when savings rates are at historic lows, when one medical bill can wipe out an emergency fund, when the job market you'd be entering is the most uncertain it's been in a generation. Telling someone to just leave is like telling someone to swim across a river without mentioning the current. The Great Stay isn't a personal character flaw spreading across 70% of the workforce. It's a rational response to an irrational economic moment. And you deserve to stop blaming yourself for being a human being inside of it. Here's what they don't tell you. Being trapped isn't the same as being weak. Sometimes staying is the most structurally sound decision available to you right now. Yeah. And sometimes the most courageous thing isn't quitting dramatically. It's quietly building the conditions that make leaving possible, while still keeping the lights on. A skill, a contact, a conversation you've been putting off, an application you send on a Tuesday night when nobody's watching. Yeah. Because here's the truth about the Great Stay that nobody frames correctly. You're not stuck because you gave up. You're stuck because you're carrying something real. Rent, debt, dependence, uncertainty. And you're doing it while showing up every day to a place that doesn't deserve you. That's not paralysis. That's endurance. And endurance, when it's directed, even slowly, even imperfectly, is how people actually get out. Not in a blaze of "I quit" energy, in the quiet accumulation of small moves that nobody sees until the door finally opens. So the next time you do that mental math at 11 p.m. and wonder what's wrong with you, nothing is wrong with you. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're not someone who's settled. You're someone navigating one of the hardest economic moments in recent memory, with real stakes, real obligations, and a brain that's doing its best under conditions it was never designed for. The Great Stay is real. The pressure is real. The fear is real. And so is your ability to move. Even now, even slowly, even just 1 degree at a time. And if the financial or emotional weight of this has gotten heavy enough that it's affecting your health, please talk to someone. A therapist, a financial counselor, someone you trust. You don't have to carry all of this alone. Your salary doesn't measure your worth. And your job title was never the whole story. Now tell me, are you team "I stay because I have to" or team "I stay because I'm scared to find out what's out there"? Drop it in the comments. No judgment, just honesty. And if this video made you feel a little less alone in it, hit subscribe. We're here every week breaking down the psychology of work that nobody talks about. Because understanding why you are the way you are, that's not just interesting, that's powerful.